Hello, English readers. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new live read along of the graded reader adaptation of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Brontë. Here, I'm Lydie and I'm an English teacher in France. I'm also the founder of Lydie's Book Club, in which I host live readings of adaptations of classics or contemporary novels of English literature. And I tend to prioritize books that are written by women. And once a week, I meet the members of the book club via Zoom to discuss the chapters read over the week. We also talk about books in general and also learning English and any other topics that come to the table as well. And this month, we were reading Jane Eyre. Today is the last live reading session. We've done 11 then so far, and you can rewatch those live or watch or rewatch those live readings on my YouTube channel, on Lydie's Book Club YouTube channel, and on the podcast on Spotify, Read in English. And you will find all the previous live readings. And at the end of the session, you will be able also to listen to this one if you don't have the time to do it today. So this is our last live session. And this month I had also added 3 live workshops, that are happening on 3 Saturdays. And you have all the dates in the description of this video. There is one this Saturday, and there is the final one next week. And we will close this Jane Eyre month at Lydie's Book Club. So hopefully you'll be able to attend those 2 live workshops. You can still join the live workshop tomorrow by joining the membership of the book club. You have the link in the description as well. And be part of this amazing literary journey and improve your English as well along the way, and share your views and thoughts on this novel, and also how the feelings and the characters' attitude and responses to what it happens to them, how it can relate to your life or to someone that you knew or an experience that you had. It's so enriching to share these moments and those thoughts with fellow book lovers as well. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the book club. Today we're going to read chapter 12, the last chapter of this adaptation. This adaptation is for A2. It's aimed at A2 plus learners, but you can, if you have a lower level, it's going to be a good challenge for you. You can still test yourself, or it's going to be a good way for you to improve much faster your English. And if you have a B1 level, it doesn't matter really if the text has a lower level, because there are always new words that you can learn from, and sharing your thoughts is always good practice. So no matter the level that you have in English, join the book club and share your thoughts and improve with us your English. So if you'd like to know more about Charlotte Bronte's life, And this novel, if you just heard of it, but you're not really familiar with the novel or the author, then I invite you to listen to the podcast episode 20, an introduction to Charlotte Brontë and Jane Eyre, that you can find on YouTube or on Spotify. Hi guys, thank you for joining. Hi. Welcome, congratulations, Alice, well done. Okay, so today I'm going to, so for now, before I get into the reading, I'm going to do a quick recap of the chapter. Hi, Katie, I forgot you. I'm going to do a quick recap of the chapter 11 that we read yesterday. So yesterday we left off with Jane Eyre learning that she had found a new family, a new members, that Mr. St. John and his two sisters are Jane's cousins. And so that was chapter 10. And in chapter 11, and we learned also that she has inherited from the money and Mr. John Eyre, her of Madeira, her uncle, or their uncle, that that Jane is the sole inheritant of all his money and property. So she decided, and that the amount of his money is is 20,000 pounds, which is a huge sum of money, and she decided to share it with her three cousins. So they would get 5,000 each, which would be already a large amount of money to live on. So she took that decision, and she was pleased that her cousin Diana and Mary would not have to be governesses anymore. They would be able to come back to Moor House and live with Jane. So this is what they've done. And then Jane could stop teaching at the school where she had started a couple months ago. So she is now living in chapter 11. We learned that she's living with her two cousins and also her cousin St. John at Moor House. And one day, St. John asks her to join him for a trip to live in India, or go for a long trip to India on a missionary mission, or to accompany him as for his missionary work, and is asking her to accompany him as his wife, and not as a friend, and not just as a cousin. But Jane does not really agree with this arrangement, let's say, or about this plan that Saint John had in mind. But instead, she proposed to come with him. She's happy to join him, but only as a sister, as a relative, just as herself, not being legally bound to him. So she could be free and live as she please. But that doesn't really make Saint John happy. So they disagree for some time, in the course of a couple days or weeks. And one day, one evening, they have this argument again about the trip to India and the fact that Saint John stays on his position and wants her to come with him as a married woman, as his wife. So in a way, this is his proposal to her, but this is not really romantic, really. This is, you don't love me, she said to him. This is just a trade, kind of, or this is not romantic at all, and it doesn't live up to Jane's expectation. And she's almost about to say yes to him. That's at some point in the night, later in the night, or as they have this discussion together, she hears in the night, because they're at the door outside, and she hears her name being called. And she stops, and she is wondering where this sound comes from. And she recognizes the voice. She hears the voice of Mr. Rochester. And as if they had a connection, a supernatural connection. And she replied to him that she's coming and to wait for her. So as she was about to go on this journey over to India with Saint John, she hears this voice. Was it in her head, or was it really something mystical, or that makes her rethink on her decision? And let's see in this new chapter what Jane is going to do and what's going to be Saint John's reaction, maybe. Okay. Hi, Etienne, welcome. Okay, now let's read chapter 12. Going home. I left Moor House early the next morning, after saying a hurried goodbye to Dinah and Mary. I will be away for 3 or 4 days, I told them. I have to visit an old friend. It was June, but the weather was cloudy and cold. I waited at Whitcross for the carriage to come. It was the same carriage that brought me here a year ago with nothing. You see how tables turn and how life, that's an interesting topic, for example, to discuss. If you had already this feeling of a massive evolution in your life after just 1 year, from I don't know, or something, or an event or a place that you went the year before, and you were in a complete different place in your life or in your mind. And a year later, you are another person, or someone that is has a new perception on life, or has a new type of life, maybe. So that's completely relatable with Jane's experience. And she's taking the same carriage, but now as a rich woman, not someone that not a poor one. The journey took 36 hours. At last, we arrived in Millcote, and I got out. He is probably in Europe, I told myself. And if he is at Thornfield with his wife, then what can I do? But I started to walk along the lane towards Thornfield. Then I passed the still and went into the gardens. But there I saw no house, only a great black ruin. I immediately hurried back to Millcote. What happened to Thornfield? I asked a man in the street. Don't you know? He replied. It's a ruin. 10 months ago, there was a terrible fire there. It was started by a lady who lived there. She was Mr. Rochester's wife, but none of us knew about her until after the fire. Was Mr. Rochester at home when the fire started? I asked. Yes, he was. And he went to save his wife, but she was on the roof. I saw it all happen. She was a big woman with long black hair. Mr. Rochester came towards her, and then she screamed and jumped. The next moment, she was on the ground, dead. Good God! It was terrible, ma'am, he said, and he shook a little. And afterwards, did anyone else die? Well, the house is a ruin, but no one else died. Maybe that's not a good thing, he replied. Poor Mr. Rochester, he said. It's terrible for him. How? I asked. Is he in England? Yes, he is in England. He can't leave because he is blind. He cannot see because he was badly hurt in the fire. Where does he live now? I asked. He's at his house in Ferndean, about 30 miles away, he replied. He lives with his servant, old John, and John's wife, Mary. He's very sad. He's a very sad man now, they say. Then please, can you get me a carriage to go to Ferndean immediately? I said. I will pay you very well for it. Ferndean was a large old house on a farm. I knew that Mr. Rochester sometimes visited it, but it was my first time there. I arrived on a dark, windy night and walked the last mile. A pair of high gates appeared through the trees. Gates. And behind them was an old stone house. I went to the door and knocked on it. John's wife, Mary, came and opened it. She was very surprised to see me, so I quickly told her my story. At that moment, a bell rang from inside the house. He's ringing for his tea, she said. Then please give it to me to take to him, I said. A few minutes later, I took some tea into the drawing room. My hands shook, and my heart was going very fast. The room was very dark. Only a small fire burned in the fireplace. Standing next to it was Mr. Rochester with his head on his hands. His old dog, Pilot, lay at his feet, but Pilot put up his ears when I came in, and then he jumped towards me. Lie down, Pilot, I said. Mr. Rochester turned tidily towards me. Give me the tea, Mary, he said. I moved towards him with the tea. Pilot followed me, still excited. Down, Pilot, I said again. What is the matter? Mr. Rochester asked. This is you, Mary, isn't it? Mary is in the kitchen, I replied. He put out his hands, but he could not see me to touch me. Who is this? He said. Suddenly his hand was on my arm, my shoulder. Is it Jane? This is her body, her size. And this is her voice, I added. She is all here, her heart too. Sir, I'm so happy to be near you again. I have come back to you. Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre. But it is only a dream. I have many dreams at night when I told her to my heart once more, like I do now, and kiss her. Then I feel that she still loves me and has never left me. And I will never leave you again, sir, I replied. But I always woke and found it was a dream, he cried unhappily. My life was dark and without hope. Oh, kiss me, Jane. There, sir, and there. I put my mouth to his eyes and kissed him then. Then I kissed his hair. He suddenly stood taller. Is it really you? Is it Jane? Have you come back to me then? He said. I have. I have. And you're not dead in some river? He said. You're not living with strangers? No, sir. I'm a rich woman now. And I'm living with family, I replied. My uncle in Madeira is dead and he left me £5,000. If you don't want to live with me, I can build my own house close to your door and you can come to visit me every evening. But Jane, I want a wife. Do you, sir? I said. Of course. What shall I do? I smiled. Choose the woman who loves you best, sir. Then I will. Jane, will you marry me? I smiled. Yes, sir. I will. Oh, I'm going to be the happiest woman on earth. He held me against his chest. You know, Jane, a couple of days ago, I was in my room sitting by the window. I could smell the warm summer air. Suddenly, I needed you so much, and I called your name. Jane, Jane, Jane. Was it Monday night? Near to midnight? Yes, and I heard your voice reply, I'm coming. Wait for me. I'm sure those words were yours. Oh, I thank God. I thank God. Jane didn't say anything. Reader, I married him. We had a small wedding with no guests. And this sentence, dear reader, or reader, I can't remember whether it was reader or dear reader. I think it, I can't remember whether it was dear or reader. Yes, it is the exact same sentence. Reader, I married him. Yeah. So this is the exact sentence that is actually in the book. So that's a nice little insight of, or a nice clue from the writer of this adaptation. We had a small wedding with no guests. A few days later, I wrote to St. John, Mary, and Diana. St. John did not reply. Maybe he did not get the letter. But Mary and Diana wrote us happy words. You haven't forgotten little Adele, have you, reader? So here it's interesting to see that the the narrator, Jane, is, it feels like she is speaking to us. She is speaking to us directly. And in a way, it's also Charlotte who is talking to us directly. I went to visit her at her school. She was so happy to see me, but she looked pale and thin. I took her home with me and found a better school for her. She came to visit us often and grew to be kind and sweet, a kind and sweet woman who is now a good friend to me. I have now been married for 10 years. I know what it is to live for and with what I love best on earth. I'm very lucky. I am my husband's life and he is mine. We talk all day and our lives are wonderful. Edward Rochester was blind for the first 2 years of our marriage. I was his eyes, and I took him everywhere. Then, after 2 years, he began to see again in one of his eyes. When our first son was put into his arms, he was able to see that his son's eyes were huge and black, just like his own. And that's the end of Jane Eyre. So you see how they have a little boy together, how beautiful this story ends. Although Edward became blind, their love story remains beautiful and epic in a way as well. At what they've been through, and they've managed to found each other and connect each other as well. So it's yeah, it's a beautiful story as well. Although it's there's so many sad events that happened, and the fact that in the end, Mr. Rochester is in the bad place. He's lost his house, and Thornfield doesn't exist anymore. Although it did, it's what is interesting here is that in a way, this house represented so much evil for Mr. Rochester. He hated the house for what it represented, and the fact that his wife was in the attic, and in the end, his wife and the house burned to the ground in the end. Even though Bertha jumped, she didn't really burn, but yeah, they both vanished through the air. Well, so it's in a way a new beginning for Mr. Rochester. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this live reading today. So I hope that you'll be able to join us for the live session tomorrow. Session 2 is happening on Zoom, and at 9 a.m. we will discuss the chapters 6 to 9. And if you want to be part of this workshop, then join the book club. It's gonna be free once you're a member. And once the 3 sessions will be completed, then from the 10th of June, then you will have access to the replay of the workshop as a one-off purchase. You don't need to become a member. You will just be able to purchase the workshop and watch it in your own time. Listen to the conversations that we had, and then listen and maybe share your thoughts on the workshop on my Instagram messages or whatever. So let me know if you make sure that you let me know on social media that you have watched the workshops and well, the 3-part workshop, and give me your feedback as well and your thoughts once you've read the book and heard our conversation as well. Kitty's asking, is live reading on Saturday? No, there isn't. Tomorrow, they're not going to be. Yeah, it's true. Today, it's Thursday. So no live reading tomorrow. Today was the last session. So no live readings tomorrow. And we'll see you tomorrow. And I will see you Saturday. Maybe I said tomorrow about the session. Sorry. So Saturday session 2. I don't know what I said. I can't remember. But tomorrow, no live reading session because we finished the book. And Saturday morning, we will discuss. I hope you it's still okay for you, Kitty, to be there for the live workshop for session 2. I hope that's still good for you. And I will see you next week now with a new podcast episode of Zadie Smith, this British author, and also about her novel called White Teeth. So this is our June live read along. Yay, we'll be there. Great. I look forward to Saturday. And here is big announcement here, a little preview of the book that we're going to read in June. We are going to read White Teeth from Zadie Smith. She is a British author. And next Wednesday, I will do a live podcast on Zadie Smith and the novel White Teeth. To introduce, as a way to introduce you to our new live read along in June. The live read along will start on the 10th of June. So many stuff happening on the 10th of June. So on this day, you will be able to purchase the workshop of Jane Eyre, and also we will start reading this new book, White Teeth. And the level of this one is B2, so level 7. So that's going to be a good challenge for you guys if you have an intermediate or upper intermediate level. And Getty's saying, so interesting, something completely new for me. Yeah, I'm glad it's going to be a new read, and a discovery for you. And it is also, as you can see, it is a contemporary, you can't really see, but it is a contemporary novel. And it's been a while that we haven't read a contemporary novel. The last time was Girl, Woman, Other. It was back in January, I think. So yeah, it's nice to come back to contemporary novels as well, and change a little bit of era as well. So we will discover this this novel and this author as well. And this time I will be able to we will also have 3 live workshops on the book as well. So that's going to be new as well, because with Girl, Woman, Other, I wasn't doing live workshops at the time. So it's going to be the first novel, the first contemporary novel that we are going to study as well in a live workshop. So yeah, so it's going to be exciting as well. So Kitty's asking, did you read the original version? I am currently reading the novel, the original book, because thanks to this amazing book club, I hadn't read the book, so it's great for me to discover this novel, and I'm currently reading it. Hopefully I will be finished before we start, but it's otherwise I will see. But it is yes, completely new. It's in London. It's in a more modern. It's in our time. Well, not really, not the 2000, but it is just after the second. The story is happening just at the end, just after the Second World War. So very contemporary. I mean, it kind of spans over 50 years. So from the 50s up to, let's say, 50s up to the end of the 19th century, just before the millennium year 2000. So this novel was released in 2000. So it's really it's been a while now. It's been over 20 years that this novel has been released. So it starts to become quite old, but not as old to be considered as a classic. But it is already studied in at university and at school as well. Pupils in the UK study this book. Yes, it was my first book in English, was it? Amazing. So you wrote did you read the original already, Kitty? I meant the book Girl, Woman, Other. Ah, I see. Okay, Girl, Woman, Other was your first book in English. Yes, it was. It was the first book that I did with the format of this book club. Yes. You see? And now fast forward, yeah, 6 months later, yeah, back with a new novel, a new contemporary novel, and it was also a B2 level. So yes, it seems like a lot of contemporary novels have been adapted up to a B2 level. Well, the language is not as complex as in 19th century English. So I guess it is the original text is closer to the reader's language of, well, what they know about the English language. The structure of the sentences are much easier than classics of English literature. Yes, it was. Oh, yeah. How funny. Yeah, this is it. So it's nice to see how this book club evolves, as you can see. Evolves, as you can see. So it's nice to see that now, this time, they're going to be also a workshop around this novel. So I'm quite excited also to prepare that for you. So it was so lovely to have you live tonight and to read this last chapter of Jane Eyre. But it's not finished yet. Let's enjoy the last 2 workshop sessions that we have left. And I wish you a beautiful evening. And I will see you on Saturday, Katie. Bye bye. See you.